Conan going to be first up over for the team 1. On the team, we got ourselves Casameto at RSK as a Windwalker, Trill over on the Evoker, Erebus over on the Rogue. We got ourselves Below the Belt. That's a good rogue name, actually, with Bloodstainer and Sub-Rogue. We got Sandstorm as a Fire Mage. We got ourselves Sebastian on the DH. And then Kevin as well on the Retribution Paladin. I got my classes wrong, dude. Is that late night brain no good. Gonna be a stun by Conan. Got himself full offensive power, but below the belt with an evasion. Just trying to see if he can kind of chill and maybe whittle down the Conan bit by bit, chipping away at, I was gonna say armor, but he's barely really wearing much armor. This man is just really just down here in like a kilt, couple of sandals. He got himself a belt with a blade. Wouldn't really call that armor. Big damage, as it's gonna be big defensive out of Conan. Will definitely need to make some kind of a play versus below the belt if he wants to maybe make a comeback here. Down on cooldowns, but maybe can get himself at least survivability, stun onto the Rogue, catches him for a second. If you can somehow get some kind of bleeds onto the Rogue too. I don't really know what kind of a talent build you got. Stun onto below, does have a trinket, evasion back up, has a roar to follow, secret technique, Conan without a defensive, disarm onto the warrior for a second, below the belt has barely enough survivability, blind to follow, Conan does have a trinket, does he choose to burn it? I don't think he does. Does he have a big bleed? Wait, what is that charge? That charge went through a wall. He literally did not have line of sight of the guy. Still bleeds are up onto below for just a second, got himself to pick up. Cloaker Shot is really early, doesn't block the stun or anything. I think it's over, right? Bleed, cheat death, vanish. Do you even want to come out of stealth after? Gonna be disarmed. Does get himself a shadow mode, stun, but no bleed. Oh my god, what is that bleed duration? 4 seconds, actually, because it used to be a bleed ability, wasn't it back on the alpha? It used to be part of this bleed fury setup. Conan tried to see if he could take down the Rogue, does finally take him down. Took a bit, but is able to send every cooldown into him. Sandstorm going to be up next. Blink and pass the Stormbolt Nova onto Conan. Does it reflect? Fireball is going to get reflected, but the combustion, you want to be able to stop it. Unless Conan got summoned for this one. Does he maybe have a fear? May need to use every heal available. Does go for impending victory. Needs himself another charge. Bleed. I don't think that roar does get to connect. As Sandstorm got himself plenty of mobility. Conan trying to stay as aggressive as possible. Every single global you have for Bloodthirst, any kind of heal you have, any stuns you got, anything could be very helpful. Pyroblast at the end of the day, though. Right in the face. As RSK going to be up next in cap onto Sandstorm, expecting the blink out of him, but it's going to be very, very DR stun. And Sandstorm, I think, is going to be an ice block situation, right? Every cooldown send, at that point, you just immune it, reset, recover, and come back versus RSK a little bit later. Trying to see if he can at least hold off until he could use the Cauterize at some point in the future. Poly does not get to connect. That's going to be poured back and forth for RSK. Just dips out for a second, dodging the Poly, gets back in there with the port right after just to stay on him. Going to be maybe Ring of Frost, doesn't quite connect. Doesn't get to capture RSK in place though. Wait a second, for Sandstorm, that's actually pretty good. Random bits of combustion, but he's actually getting himself at least a little bit of a breather. Reset doesn't really get to set up anything off of that Ring of Frost though. So I think that might end up pulling it back a bit. Blink is available. Maybe he can go for a reverse blink. Nova available. Might be Cauterize. There goes the Cauterize. Does have some maybe a bit of damage. No combustion for a while. Got mobility at the very least. Shield to hold him off, but not much left afterwards. Sebastian as a Demon Hunter is up next. Susan Chat said that we don't get a lot of Demon Hunters, by the way. We got one. I totally fixes everything, right? Stun into RSK with a sigil right after. Does get himself the Demon Lexi. Trinkets out of it. And RSK did have Fist of Fear for a little bit. Ivan to follow. Hunt right after. With the fear to follow. Does he just break through karma, or does he take this play defensively? Looks like he's trying to play defensively. This is what RSK wants to make that karma work. Sebastian flying up in the air. Does he just barrage him? I think it's worth. Had himself flying us up for a second, but RSK recovering a ton of health, although did have to use a lot of energy early, so doesn't have a lot of energy for recovery himself. Meta by Sebastian, does get himself a demon, may want to slay it, needs to pick up the demonic soul, stun into RSK. Is this enough? Does he take it right there? Blade dance almost completes it. If only he was just there for a little bit longer. Needs to can strike. Oh, does get to take down the monk, needs to pick up that soul immediately. As Trill Evoker does not want to give this man too much of a earlier immediate sleep. Fire breath, I think the breath is just going to take him. Yeah, almost by itself, does get himself a couple of casts right afterwards, and down he goes. With Kevin as well as Blood are the last ones left over on the team too. Trill versus another rogue, gets himself a big heal off the bat. Dampening is kind of a little bit on the higher end with a 45% dampener, plus the rogue's wound poison. It is going to make it a little bit more challenging for the Evoker to keep himself alive. Big secret technique in the open of Bloodstain. He needs to make sure his openers, before Trill gets himself a shield or anything, are the strongest they can be. Trill with a deep breath. Does he get himself a big setup? Fire breath, everything. Knock up on the Rogue, slam him down right after the stun. Rogue goes in for a cloak or shadow, trying to see if he can get out of it. That is a trinket, cloak, vanish, and everything except for an evasion, but it's not really going to stop it against the Evoker. Gonna be Bloodstain, got himself full cheap shot onto Trill. Is it enough to try to see if he can go for a kick? Doesn't quite connect. Evan might dream projection. Let's Trill trying to get himself a little bit of health. Breath is going to do quite a bit. Maybe up here to lock the Rogue down. Does he have the route to follow? He doesn't, but the instant cast is doing plenty of damage with the claws to follow. Might just have one more instant cast. No, looks like he's out. Just fire, breath, and claws is all he's really got. As Bloodstain trying to see if he can get back some of that survivability, but the dots do end up burning him down, with Kevin immediately going off from a stun into the next stun. Actually gouge and blind into a stun, as Kevin got himself full burst. Trill, better use everything. I don't really know if this man's got anything to survive. Trying to go for a sleepwalker to Kevin. Doesn't get to juke the rebuke. Trinket to follow. Trying to at least keep it slow onto Kevin as best as possible with those claws, which do apply like a 50% slow. Big mobility out of the Evoker, but he's not out of the woods just yet. The man is under a ton of pressure. Kevin got himself full crusade at the ready. Time skip, that's the ability. As Trill at least got himself defensives and offensives back up, so maybe he can go out a little bit creative versus Kevin, slamming down with a stump for a second. Fire breath, forcing a bubble out of him. You just gotta play defensive and just live. Stun has a trigger for this one. Maybe mobility, needs to get a sleep onto Kevin at some point, so maybe at least get yourself a setup. Deep breath to follow. Does he have a big go? Shield of Endless available. Just trying to see if he can play it out with the burst. Kevin actually taking quite a bit of damage right now. No more bubble. Maybe this could be an opportunity for Trill to score a kill here. Kevin, does he play into Blessing of Protection or Spell Warden? Because at this point it might just be a lay your hand situation. Trill looking for a bit of recovery, as Kevin trying to recover a bit as well, but the Evoker does have quite a bit extra healing, literally sitting down to get mana, while Kevin using Wake of Ashes into a wall just to get a little bit more holy power. Trying to see if he can close the gap, looking for the stun. Upheaval by the Evoker with a Fire Breath right after Spell Warden is available. This is where Trill needs to bail out of there. Bail to another zip code and just chill. Doesn't need to fight the Red Paladin just yet. Backing up away completely as we hit on that 11-minute mark, 40 seconds into the match. Literally going in for mana, trying to be as optimized as he can, maxing out as many casts as he can, sitting down, mana up as fast as possible. Honestly, for Kevin, might also be not a bad idea to do the same as well. Just max out that mana, and as soon as you're back behind the pillar, sit down, start manaing up, start recovering the resources as fast as you can. Literally play as if you're like a healer. But for Kevin, what do we got? Crusade should be coming back up soon. Shield of Endless available. Does have Lay in Hands as a last bastion of defense, looking for a little bit of recovery of his own. And Trill, I can't track his cooldowns, man. All I know is he doesn't have a trinket for at least 30 seconds, and the rest of it is just up in the air right now. It's just up to anyone's guess at this point if he's got anything available at all. But for Kevin, he's got, what, 2 minutes on the bubble? Does he wait for Trill too? At this point, clock is going to run out. Does Trill push in, or does he just play it out in the open? Because I think that's where exactly he wants to be. For Kevin, he's on the opposite end. He'd actually like to play around the line of sight so he can maybe avoid the Evoker's hits and use Hand of Freedom in a creative way to maybe avoid him completely. Gym Projection. Does he get to dispel himself? Was that a stun? Did he just dispel a Hodge? Hold on. If Kevin doesn't stun for a while, then I know he just dispelled a Hodge. Wait a second, might have actually going to be deep breath. Kevin, does he have defenses? Going to be big damage with an upheaval to follow? Does he maybe a landslide stun to follow? Has himself a little bit of damage. Kevin with the land hands, using it really early. No stun by Kevin, so I think actually Trill was able to dispel the Hodge as he came in. Living Flame, is it enough though? Upheaval, is it going to be everything? Oh my god, it was so close. That stun dispel is actually so good. He just has his astral projection. As soon as stun comes out, projection erupts, removes it immediately, and the man is there to react instantly. That is actually so good. I never even thought about it. That's kind of incredible. All right, if we got groups, let's get ourselves something going, because I know Chillpills also wants to play, yeah?